You stand in front of the bathroom mirror in your childhood home. The overhead lighting casts harsh, unflattering shadows over your narrow frame. You pull your t-shirt tight against your chest, desperately searching for a hint of muscle that simply is not there. You feel incredibly small. Why does your body stubbornly refuse to grow no matter what you do? But the real answer to your lack of size is far stranger than just bad genetics. It is a story of extreme, unbelievable human adaptation. You are about to embark on a decades-long transformation that will entirely rewrite your biology. Level 1. The absolute beginner. You are exactly 16 years old. You weigh 58 kilograms soaking wet. Your wrists look incredibly fragile. The gap between your arms and your shirt sleeves feels like a massive canyon you can never cross. Your family constantly tells you to just eat more food. Do they honestly think you haven't tried that? Your fast metabolism burns through calories like a raging furnace. One day, you finally gather the courage to walk into a commercial gym. The air smells heavily of cold iron and stale sweat. Massive, intimidating humans move terrifying amounts of weight with mechanical precision. You try to hide yourself in the back corner. You pick up the lightest pink dumbbells on the rack. You do bicep curls. You do more bicep curls. You repeat this mindless motion until your arms go completely numb. The next morning, you wake up in excruciating pain. Your elbows are locked tightly at a 90-degree angle. Have you permanently damaged your tendons? No. You are experiencing delayed onset muscle soreness. Your central nervous system is panicking. Your untrained muscle fibers are suffering from severe microscopic tears. 3 months pass in a blur of random machines and zero actual progress. You look exactly the same in the mirror. You realize that just moving heavy metal around without a solid plan is completely useless. Level 2. The student of iron. You stop guessing and hoping. You start researching. You discover the fundamental laws of human thermodynamics. You download a food tracking application to your phone. How much protein are you actually eating every day? It turns out you were consuming a miserable 60 grams. You read the pioneering nutritional work of Dr. Stuart Phillips from McMaster University. His clinical research proves that to maximize muscle protein synthesis, you need significantly more protein than the average human being. You immediately double your daily intake. Chewing dry chicken breast becomes a mandatory daily chore. Eggs become your non-negotiable breakfast staple. You also adopt a structured, highly proven strength program. 5 sets of 5 repetitions, squats, bench presses, and heavy deadlifts. Pure compound movements that force your central nervous system to adapt to increasingly heavier loads. You stop caring about the isolation bicep curl. You focus your entire existence on the heavy barbell. You add 2.5 kilograms to the bar every single week without fail. It feels completely intoxicating. 6 months later, you step hesitantly on the bathroom scale. 65 kilograms. Your chest has actual visible shape. Your shoulders have noticeable width. You are no longer the hopelessly skinny kid. Level 3. The dedicated gym rat. 2 full years vanish into the iron. The gym is no longer a fun weekend hobby. It is the solid, unshakable anchor of your entire day. You train 5 days a week without a single exception. You run a strict push, pull, and legs routine. Do you remember when 60 kilograms on the bench press felt impossibly heavy? You are now casually warming up with that exact weight. You start studying the precise biological mechanics of human muscle growth. You dive deeply into the extensive clinical research of Dr. Brad Schoenfeld. He is the world's leading academic expert on muscle hypertrophy. His peer-reviewed studies reveal that mechanical tension is the absolute primary driver of cellular muscle growth. You stop bouncing the heavy weight off your chest. You start rigidly controlling the eccentric phase of every single lift. You track your progressive overload in a small leather notebook. If you lifted 80 kilograms for 8 repetitions last week, you fight like hell for 9 repetitions this week. You embrace the endless repetitive cycle of bulking and cutting. You eat in a deliberate caloric surplus for 8 months to build raw, dense tissue. You accept the thick layer of fat that naturally comes with it. Then, you spend 4 miserable months eating in a precise deficit. The fat slowly melts away. You reveal the dense muscle you spent all winter meticulously building. You now weigh a solid 75 kilograms. People at your office start randomly asking you for fitness advice. You realize you have officially crossed the line from a normal person to a dedicated lifter. Level 4. The amateur competitor. 5 years of relentless, unbroken consistency have forged a formidable physique. A massive guy in the locker room casually asks if you have ever thought about stepping on a bodybuilding stage. You nervously laugh it off initially, but the seed is planted deep in your subconscious mind. You decide to enter a local amateur men's physique show. It is finally time to test your absolute physical limits. You hire an experienced prep coach. The strict protocol he hands you is completely brutal. 6 days of heavy, exhausting lifting. Fasted cardiovascular training every single morning before the sun even rises. Your diet is entirely restricted to white fish, green asparagus, and carefully measured portions of plain rice. You start your contest preparation at 12% body fat. Can you actually survive the intense mental torture of reaching 6%? You quickly learn about the dark psychological side of extreme conditioning. You are constantly, agonizingly hungry. You are perpetually cold in warm rooms. Your natural testosterone levels plummet directly into the ground. You study the brilliant work of Dr. Eric Helms regarding natural bodybuilding preparation. You learn that preserving muscle in a severe energy deficit requires precise macronutrient management and extreme psychological resilience. 16 weeks out, your abdominal muscles are razor sharp. 20 weeks out, you have thick roadmap veins crossing your shoulders. On the morning of the show, you are coated in a dark artificial tan. You step blindly under the harsh stage lights. You hit your mandatory poses alongside 10 other starving, exhausted men. You place 5th. It honestly doesn't matter. You prove that your conscious mind can completely override your body's primal survival instincts. You are completely addicted to the process. Level 5. The regional champion. You do not quit after one mediocre placing. You become a devoted, obsessive student of the stage. You compete 3 more times over the next 4 years. Your off-seasons become incredibly smart and productive. You no longer get sloppy and fat when you bulk up. You maintain a highly controlled, precise caloric surplus. You keep your body fat just low enough to ensure optimal insulin sensitivity. Your daily training evolves from simply moving heavy weights to isolating very specific muscle fibers. You develop a profound, almost spiritual mind-muscle connection. You can make your lats flare just by lightly thinking about them. You enter the highly prestigious state championships. You are 30 pounds heavier than your very first show. Your conditioning is absolutely flawless. Your skin is literally paper thin. When the head judge calls for the final center comparisons, you are placed dead center. That is the undisputed winning spot. You hit your front double bicep pose with total confidence. The crowd roars in loud approval. You are awarded the massive overall trophy. You have conquered the regional level entirely. You are officially the best amateur bodybuilder in your entire state. But looking at the professional stage photos the very next day, a cold realization washes over you. To go any further in this extreme sport, you have to step into the elite arena. Level 6. The national contender. Welcome to the national stage. This is where amateur dreams go to die. You arrive at the massive venue feeling incredibly confident and full. Then you see your backstage competition. These giant men look like comic book characters brought to real life. Their muscle bellies are impossibly round and full. Their waistlines are microscopically small. How can human genetics actually vary this wildly? You step on stage and instantly look incredibly small. You place 15th out of 16 guys. It is a crushing, humiliating blow to your fragile ego. The gap between a good regional competitor and a national threat is an absolute chasm. You have a massive choice to make. You can walk away right now, or you can dedicate your entire existence to crossing that chasm. You choose the iron. Bodybuilding is no longer a fun sport for you. It is your entire identity. Your career choices, your personal relationships, and your daily schedule revolve entirely around your rigid meal timing and your training sessions. You spend 3 agonizing years in a deep, dark growth phase. You push food until you feel physically sick at the dinner table. You lift until your vision blurs and your ears ring. You return to the national stage significantly heavier, denser, and much sharper. You place 7th. The next year you place 3rd. You are inching painfully closer to the ultimate amateur prize. Level 7. The IFBB Professional. It has been 10 brutal years since you first picked up those tiny pink dumbbells. You are back at the national championships. You are completely dialed in. Your muscle maturity is completely undeniable. The subcutaneous water has been perfectly flushed from beneath your thin skin. You fiercely hit your side chest pose, and the judges stop taking notes. They just sit and stare at you. The announcer calls your name loudly over the loudspeaker. You have won the overall national title. You are handed a small, unassuming piece of plastic. It is an IFBB Pro card. You are officially a professional bodybuilder. You have successfully entered the top 1% of the top 1%. You are now permitted to share the stage with the absolute giants of the sport. Your professional debut is a harsh, immediate reality check. You stand directly next to men who carry 260 pounds of shredded muscle tissue. You are completely, utterly dwarfed. You place dead last. But you are not discouraged in the slightest. You deeply belong in this league. You hire an elite professional coach. You optimize every single variable of your biology, from advanced supplementation to specialized monthly blood work analysis. You spend long years fighting in the deep professional trenches. Slowly you climb the elite ranks. You break into the top 5 at a pro show. Then the top 3. You are finally becoming a recognized, highly dangerous name in the fitness industry. Level 8. The Olympian. 13 years of obsessive, completely uncompromising discipline lead to this specific moment. You win the massive New York Pro. That monumental victory grants you an automatic qualification to the Mr. Olympia contest, the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. The absolute, undisputed pinnacle of human physical development. You fly to Las Vegas. The energy in the host hotel is completely suffocating. You are constantly surrounded by absolute legends you used to watch on YouTube at 2 in the morning. You step onto the legendary Olympia stage. The lights are blindingly bright. The massive crowd is deafeningly loud. You hit your poses perfectly, masking the immense pain. You don't win the Sandow Trophy. The men in the top 5 are genetic anomalies among genetic anomalies, but you are there. You are officially one of the best bodybuilders on planet Earth. You pushed your own genetic potential to its absolute agonizing ceiling. You built a living, breathing masterpiece out of flesh, blood, and bone. Level 9. The Veteran. You are 40 years old. Your heavy joints ache constantly when it rains. Your blood pressure requires careful daily monitoring. Your doctor sits you down and tells you that your body can no longer sustain the massive amounts of food and the extreme physical stress. It is time to walk away. You officially announce your retirement from competitive bodybuilding. You lose 40 pounds of muscle over the next year. You shrink down to a normal, reasonably healthy size. You stop meticulously weighing your chicken breasts. You eat a normal dinner with your family without bringing plastic Tupperware. You start training purely for longevity, heart health, and joint mobility. People outside the extreme sport ask you if it was actually worth it. Was the immense suffering, the extreme isolation, and the daily pain worth a fleeting moment on a stage? You smile calmly. You think about the unbreakable discipline it forged deep in your soul. You think about the sheer force of will required to mold human tissue into living art. You stand in front of the bathroom mirror. The lighting casts harsh shadows over your frame. You pull your t-shirt tight against your chest, but you no longer feel small.